Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be taking a look at AI news from February 10th, 2025. We've got a pretty interesting collection of articles, blog posts, research papers, all sorts of stuff. We're going to cover everything from like these big international happenings in the AI world all the way down to some of the more like granular tech developments.
Yeah, it's a really interesting time to be following AI. The field is just moving so fast. We're really seeing the impact everywhere you look.
Absolutely. And one of the places we're seeing that play out most prominently right now is on the international stage.
Mm-hmm.
France, in particular, seems to be really making a play to become like a major global hub for AI development.
Mm.
Macron's hosting this huge AI summit in Paris, pulling in billions of dollars in investments.
Yeah, Macron's strategy here is very clever. He's using the summit to really highlight France's commitment to AI research and development. He's attracting all this top talent investment. And they're even going so far as to build this massive data center that's going to be completely dedicated to AI. They're trying to position themselves as the leader in AI infrastructure for all of Europe.
And he's definitely not being subtle about it. You know, that plug baby plug line he threw at Trump during the summit, I think it was a pretty clear message about how Europe sees the connection between AI and climate concerns. They're really leaning into this idea of sustainable tech.
It's a really savvy move. It kind of positions France as this responsible leader in the AI space, especially when you contrast their approach with some of their competitors that maybe aren't as focused on the environmental impact. It's definitely strategic, given how much emphasis is being placed on ethics and sustainability in the AI world these days.
For sure. But France isn't the only one making moves. The UK is also putting a lot of resources into AI. They've been setting up these things called AI growth zones all over the country, trying to encourage innovation and attract businesses.
Hmm.
But at the same time, there's this like undercurrent of tension when it comes to China and their progress in AI.
Yeah, and that tension's not exactly hidden. The UK's technology secretary straight up said that the race for AI dominance needs to be led by Western liberal democratic countries. It's a pretty loaded statement.
Yeah, it definitely seems like there's a growing concern in the West about what it would mean for China to control this technology.
Absolutely. That statement is really a reflection of this broader struggle for technological supremacy that's happening on the geopolitical stage. And AI is right at the center of it. Who controls AI? How will it be used? These are questions that are becoming increasingly crucial in international relations.
All right, so let's shift gears for a second and talk about what's happening in the business world. OpenAI is back in the headlines again. Elon Musk, one of the company's co-founders, has made a bid to buy the company back for a whopping $97.4 billion.
Which is pretty wild when you consider all the criticisms Musk has leveled at OpenAI in the past. He's been pretty vocal about his concerns over the company's direction, especially when it comes to safety and ethical AI development.
Yeah.
This bid could be his way of trying to regain control and steer OpenAI back towards his vision.
And adding another layer to all this drama is OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, who very publicly shot down Musk's offer. He even countered by offering to buy X, Musk's social media platform, for a much lower price. This whole thing is getting pretty heated.
It's a high-stakes battle for sure. OpenAI is developing some truly cutting-edge technology, including their own AI chips, which are specifically designed for speeding up the training of AI models.
What's the significance of developing those specialized chips? I mean, what makes those different?
Well, traditional computer chips just aren't optimized for the kind of complex calculations that AI models require. These specialized AI chips are designed to process information in a way that drastically reduces the time it takes to train these models, leading to much faster advancements and more powerful AI systems.
So it sounds like OpenAI creating their own chips could give them a real advantage in this AI race that's heating up.
Exactly. It gives them a lot more control over their hardware, and it could potentially make them less reliant on other companies for chips. But it's not all smooth sailing for OpenAI. They've also been facing some scrutiny over their data security practices, which has raised concerns about how responsibly they're handling user information.
Yeah, that's a really important point. As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, these questions about data privacy and security become even more critical.
It's a tough balance. You need massive amounts of data to train these AI systems, but ensuring that data is handled ethically and responsibly is absolutely crucial. This is a conversation that's not going away anytime soon, and it's something that's going to continue to shape how AI is developed and used.
And all this development takes money. Let's talk about the financial side of this AI boom. We're seeing absolutely staggering amounts of money being poured into AI research and development.
SoftBank, for example. The Japanese investment giant just launched this $500 billion project called Stargate that's specifically focused on funding AI ventures.
$500 billion. That's almost impossible to even comprehend. What could they possibly be planning with that kind of investment?
The scale of it is really mind-boggling. It seems like their ambitions go way beyond just developing AI applications. They're probably looking to create entire new industries and reshape existing ones through AI. It's a huge bet on the transformative power of AI.
And SoftBank's not the only one doing this. Tech giants like Meta, the company formerly known as Facebook, and DataRobot, an AI platform company, have been aggressively buying up smaller AI startups.
Yeah, it's a feeding frenzy out there. These companies are all fighting for control of the most promising AI technologies and the brightest minds in the field. They all recognize the potential for massive growth and profit, and nobody wants to be left behind. It's a race to build the future of AI.
So the business of AI is booming. But let's bring things down to earth for a minute and talk about how AI is changing the way we live our everyday lives. We're seeing everything from AI-powered gesture control for wearable tech to AI assistants that are helping people prepare for job interviews.
Yeah, the speed at which AI is being integrated into our daily routines is incredible. It's changing how we interact with technology and even how we interact with each other.
It's everywhere, right?
Huh.
AI is personalizing our shopping experiences, optimizing our commutes, even curating the entertainment we consume. It's getting harder and harder to imagine a world without AI.
It is, and that rapid integration brings up some really important questions about how we manage this increasing dependence on AI. Microsoft actually just published a study that highlighted the potential for AI to make us less critical thinkers if we become too reliant on these systems.
That's a scary thought. As AI gets more sophisticated, we need to make sure we don't lose our ability to think for ourselves.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance, harnessing the power of AI while remaining aware of its potential pitfalls.
Which leads us to the darker side of all this. While AI offers some amazing possibilities, it also comes with new risks and challenges that we need to address.
We're already seeing reports of AI being used to spread misinformation, create incredibly realistic deepfakes, and even carry out really sophisticated scams.
There was that case recently where criminals used AI to clone the voice of Italy's defense minister, Giorgio Armani, and they actually used it to trick business leaders into sending them money over the phone.
It's scary stuff. It really highlights how cybercrime is evolving in this age of AI. The ability to perfectly mimic voices and generate deepfakes that are basically indistinguishable from reality poses a huge threat to trust and security online.
It's a stark reminder that as AI advances, so do the tools available to those who want to use it for malicious purposes.
Yeah, we're entering an era where knowing what's real and what's fake is going to become increasingly difficult. We desperately need robust security measures and public awareness campaigns to try and mitigate these risks.
And then you've got the potential for misuse on an even larger scale. What about AI and warfare?
That's a whole other can of worms. Google recently backtracked on their promise to not develop AI for weapon systems, which has understandably sparked a lot of concern.
It's a decision that's generated a ton of debate about the ethics of autonomous weapons and the possibility of AI escalating global conflicts.
It's a deeply troubling issue with no easy answers. It raises fundamental questions about human control, accountability, and the very nature of war in the future.
It's a lot to process. That's a pretty broad overview of AI news, ranging from global politics to technological advancements and everything in between.
Yeah, the AI landscape is complex and constantly changing. Staying informed and critically examining the implications of all this is more important now than ever before. And it's not just the big geopolitical stuff or these corporate power plays that are interesting. The sheer number of new AI models coming out is kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with, even for people who follow this stuff closely. It seems like every week there's a new wave of announcements.
You've got OpenAI's O3 Mini, then there's DeepSeek's Janus Pro, and Mistral just released their 24B parameter model. It's hard to even tell which of these are actually significant advancements anymore.
It's definitely overwhelming for the average person trying to keep up. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. So how do we even begin to figure out which of these AI models are worth paying attention to?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. I mean, with all this information overload, it's easy to get lost. I think one of the most important things to look for is transparency. You want models that are being developed with clear explanations of what they can do, what they can't do, what their limitations are. And then there's the issue of reliability. Look for models that have been rigorously tested and validated, that have a proven track record. And of course, ethical development is paramount. We need to prioritize models that are being built with responsible AI principles in mind.
And then there's the whole issue of cost. I mean, these models require an insane amount of computing power, which usually translates to big bucks for anyone who wants to use them. Is this technology just destined to be accessible only to the super rich and giant corporations?
That's a big concern, and it's at the heart of a lot of the debates happening right now about AI democratization. Sam Altman, OpenAI's CEO, has actually proposed this interesting concept called a compute budget.
A compute budget. What's that? The idea is basically to allocate computing resources more fairly. So you would have mechanisms that distribute computing power based on things like the potential of the research, the benefit to society, and whether the project aligns with ethical considerations. The goal is to make sure AI development doesn't just become the exclusive domain of the wealthy and powerful.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
A more level playing field would definitely be a good thing. Are there any real-world examples of this happening? Like, is AI actually becoming more accessible right now?
There are some promising signs. Actually, Google recently included Notebook LM Plus in their Google One AI Premium subscription, and they didn't even raise the price.
So for people who are already subscribed to Google One AI Premium, they basically get access to this powerful AI research assistant for free.
Exactly. And they're even offering a 50% discount for students, which I think is a great step towards making AI education more affordable and accessible.
Speaking of the next generation, one of the things people worry about most is AI taking their jobs. I mean, we're already seeing reports of companies like Meta laying off workers while simultaneously trying to hire more AI talent.
The impact of AI on the job market is definitely a huge concern, and it's not something we can just ignore. There's no doubt that AI is going to automate certain tasks, which will inevitably lead to job displacement in some sectors. But at the same time, AI is also creating new opportunities. The key is going to be adapting and learning the new skills that are going to be in demand in this new landscape.
So it's not just about learning to code.
Coding is important, of course, but AI demands a broader skill set than that. We're going to need people who are creative, who can think critically, and who can effectively collaborate with both humans and AI systems. These are uniquely human abilities that are going to become even more valuable as AI becomes more integrated into our workplaces.
So the human element is still essential, even in an increasingly AI-driven world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. AI is ultimately a tool, and it's a tool that should be used to augment human capabilities, not replace them entirely. The most successful companies and individuals in the future are going to be those who can strike that balance effectively.
Okay, let's talk about another big issue that keeps coming up. The ethical implications of AI. We keep hearing these stories about bias in AI systems, especially in things like hiring, and the potential for AI to actually worsen existing inequalities.
These concerns are completely valid, and addressing them is absolutely crucial. We need to make sure that fairness, transparency, and accountability are at the forefront of AI development and deployment. That means we need strong regulations, ethical guidelines, and a real commitment to making sure that AI benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
But who's going to enforce those regulations? How do we actually hold AI companies accountable? These are tough questions, and there's no easy answer.
It's a global challenge, and it's one that's going to require international cooperation. There needs to be a shared understanding of the importance of ethical AI development. The AI Action Summit that's happening in Paris right now is a good start. Leaders from all over the world are meeting to discuss these very issues.
Hopefully, those discussions will lead to some concrete actions, enforceable regulations that will actually guide the responsible development and use of AI.
The stakes are high. We're talking about a technology that has the potential to fundamentally reshape our world. Making sure that reshaping is equitable, ethical, and beneficial for everyone is paramount.
So amidst all the serious talk about the future of AI and the potential risks, can we take a minute to appreciate how AI is also bringing some fun and whimsy into our lives? There was that report about Apple engineers developing an AI-powered table lamp that's supposed to be like something straight out of a Pixar movie.
I love that story. It's such a perfect example of how AI is finding its way into these unexpected places. Imagine a world where even the objects in our homes have personalities and can interact with us in meaningful ways.
It's kind of wild, right? An AI table lamp that adjusts the lighting based on your mood or tells you jokes when you're feeling down. It's a glimpse into how AI could make our lives more enjoyable and interesting in ways we haven't even thought of yet.
Exactly. It's a good reminder that even with all the challenges AI brings, it also has the potential to bring wonder and delight into our lives.
And speaking of wonder, DeepMind's Alpha Geometry 2 has been making headlines for its ability to solve complex math problems at the level of international math Olympiad gold medalists.
Yeah, Alpha Geometry 2's achievements are really raising some fascinating questions about the nature of intelligence and what AI is truly capable of. Is this a sign of true intelligence, or is it just a really clever program with access to massive computing power?
It's a debate that's been raging for years, and it's one that's probably not going to be settled anytime soon. But as AI systems continue to advance, I think that line between human intelligence and artificial intelligence is only going to get blurrier.
And that blurring has some pretty profound implications. It forces us to confront what it really means to be human and what our place is in a world that's increasingly dominated by AI.
Let's talk about DeepSeek for a minute. They're the Chinese AI company that's been making waves in the industry lately. They've been aggressively hiring, especially in the area of reinforcement learning.
Reinforcement learning is a really powerful technique that allows AI systems to learn through trial and error. It's basically like how humans learn from their experiences. You train an AI agent to interact with an environment, and it figures out the best strategies to achieve specific goals.
So what are some of the applications of reinforcement learning in AI development?
It's behind a lot of the recent breakthroughs we've seen in AI, from game-playing AI that can defeat world champions in Go and chess, to robots that can learn to perform incredibly complex tasks in the real world. It has the potential to completely revolutionize fields like robotics, autonomous driving, and personalized medicine.
So it sounds like DeepSeek's focus on reinforcement learning is a sign that they're aiming to develop some pretty advanced AI systems that can actually learn and adapt in dynamic environments.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that they're doing all this at a fraction of the cost of their Western competitors, which has gotten a lot of attention in Silicon Valley. It's a potential sign of a power shift happening in the global AI landscape.
So DeepSeek's proving that cutting-edge AI research doesn't have to be prohibitively expensive. This could have some huge implications for the accessibility and democratization of AI in the future.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. DeepSeek's rise is challenging the traditional centers of AI power, and it's a reminder that innovation can come from anywhere in the world.
The AI landscape is becoming increasingly multipolar, which is exciting, but it also presents some new challenges as countries and companies battle for AI supremacy.
Competition can be a good thing. It can drive progress, but it's important to make sure that competition doesn't lead to fragmentation and an AI arms race.
Hmm.
We need international cooperation and open dialogue to make sure that AI development benefits everyone and that it's guided by ethical considerations.
At the end of the day, beyond all the competition and technological advancements, we need to remember that AI has the potential to help us solve some of humanity's biggest problems.
Absolutely. AI can be a powerful tool for good, whether it's tackling climate change, improving healthcare, or addressing poverty and inequality. The possibilities are there. The key is to make sure we're developing AI systems that are not only intelligent, but also beneficial and equitable.
So it's about shifting our perspective a bit, moving beyond seeing AI as just a way to gain a technological edge, and starting to think about how we can use it to improve the lives of people all over the world.
We need to start viewing AI as a force for positive change, a way to amplify human ingenuity and create a more sustainable, just, and prosperous future.
This deep dive into the world of AI has been a wild ride. It's clear that AI is changing the world in profound ways, and the pace of change is only accelerating.
And as AI continues to evolve, staying informed, critically engaged, and actively involved in shaping its future is more important than ever before.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in all the talk about what AI can do and how it's going to change the world.
We spend a lot of time focusing on the what of AI, but sometimes I think it's important to step back and think about the who.
What do you mean?
Well, AI systems might seem incredibly complex and sophisticated, but at the end of the day, they're still creations of human ingenuity.
Right.
So the values, the biases of the people who are creating these systems, they're embedded in the AI itself.
Hmm.
If we want an AI-powered future that actually benefits everyone, we need to prioritize diversity and inclusion in the tech industry.
It's not enough to just build AI that's technically brilliant.
Hmm.
We need to make sure it aligns with human values and that it's being used to address social challenges in a way that's responsible and equitable.
And that requires a much broader approach than just having a bunch of engineers in a room. We need ethicists, social scientists, policymakers. Everyone needs to be involved in shaping the future of AI.
And speaking of collaboration, there have been some pretty interesting partnerships popping up in the AI world lately. Mistral and Helsing, two European startups, recently teamed up to develop AI systems specifically for defense applications.
That's a pretty big deal. It's a clear sign that Europe is serious about becoming a major player in the field of military AI.
What kind of impact could that have?
Well, for one, it has the potential to shift the balance of power when it comes to military technology. And it raises some big questions about the future of warfare in a world where AI is playing an increasingly prominent role.
So the implications go way beyond Europe. This is something that could have ripple effects on global security and international relations.
Absolutely. And while that's happening over in Europe, DeepSeek is continuing to make some serious moves on the other side of the world. They're going all in on reinforcement learning, and they're scooping up some of the top talent in the field.
We talked earlier about how reinforcement learning is driving a lot of the major advances in AI. What makes DeepSeek's focus on this area so interesting?
What's exciting is that they're not just trying to create static AI systems.
Yeah.
They're building AI agents that can learn and adapt over time. They want to create AI that can actually interact with the real world, learn from its experiences, and get better, just like humans do.
That's next level stuff. What kind of impact could that have?
The potential is huge. I mean, imagine AI that can continuously improve its performance in areas like robotics, autonomous vehicles, even scientific discovery.
It sounds like DeepSeek's really shaking things up. They're proving that you don't need to be a giant tech company with unlimited resources to make breakthroughs in AI.
And they're not the only ones.
Hmm.
We're seeing more and more innovation coming from outside the traditional centers of AI power. The landscape is becoming much more diverse, and that's a good thing.
Competition can be healthy. It can push the field forward.
Mhm.
But there's always that risk that it could lead to an AI arms race where everyone's just trying to outdo each other without thinking about the consequences.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to have those global conversations about AI ethics and regulation. We need to make sure that AI development is guided by a shared set of values and that it ultimately benefits all of humanity.
So in the end, it's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we choose to use it.
AI has the power to solve some of the world's most pressing problems, but it also has the potential to create new ones. It all comes down to the choices we make.
This has been a fascinating look at the world of AI. It's clear that this technology is rapidly changing the world around us, and it's only going to get more complex and more powerful from here.
The key is to stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay critical. The future of AI is not something that's just going to happen to us. It's something we're all creating together.
So that's it for this deep dive into the world of AI. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.